Thousands of years ago, long before modern Iran existed, this land was known as Persia, a region that would become one of the most powerful civilizations in human history. Around 2000 BC, Indo-Iranian tribes began settling on the Iranian plateau, forming early communities that depended on agriculture, livestock, and trade. Over centuries, these tribes evolved into organized societies, laying the foundation for future empires. By 700 BC, the Medes established one of the first major kingdoms in the region. They unified various tribes and created a centralized political system. However, their rule would soon be replaced by a rising power, the Persians. Around 550 BC, Cyrus the Great overthrew the Medes and founded the Achaemenid Empire. His leadership marked the beginning of Persian dominance. Cyrus expanded his empire rapidly, conquering Lydia and Babylon by 539 BCE. What made Cyrus unique was not just conquest, but governance. He allowed religious freedom and respected local cultures. His policies were recorded in the Cyrus Cylinder, often considered the first declaration of human rights. The empire reached new heights under Darius I, 522–486 BCE. He introduced a centralized administration, divided the empire into provinces, and built the Royal Road, a massive network that improved communication and trade. Around 518 BC, the grand city of Persepolis was built, showcasing Persian architectural brilliance. Religion also shaped Persian identity through Zoroastrianism, emphasizing good vs evil and influencing future religions. However, after conflicts with Greece and internal issues, the empire weakened. In 330 BCE, Alexander the Great defeated Persia, ending the Achaemenid Empire. After Alexander's death, Persia came under Greek control, but by 247 BCE, the Parthians rose to power. They built a strong empire and became Rome's biggest rival. The Parthians used advanced cavalry tactics and controlled key trade routes like the Silk Road, making them wealthy and powerful. In 224 C, the Sassanian Empire replaced the Parthians. Under rulers like Shapur I, Persia became a superpower again. The Sassanians strengthened Zoroastrianism and built massive cities, palaces, and infrastructure. Constant wars with Rome and Byzantium drained resources. Finally, in 651 C, the Sassanian Empire fell to the rising Islamic forces, marking a major turning point in Iranian history. In the early 7th century, the Persian world stood at a turning point. The once mighty Sassanian Empire, which had ruled for over 400 years, was weakened by continuous wars, especially its long and exhausting conflict with the Byzantine Empire. These wars drained resources, weakened the economy, and created internal instability. At the same time, a new power was rising from the Arabian Peninsula, the early Islamic Caliphate. United by faith, discipline, and strong leadership, Muslim armies began expanding rapidly beyond Arabia. Around 633 CE, the first major encounters between the Persian and Muslim forces began. At that time, Persia was politically unstable, with weak leadership and internal divisions. This made it difficult for the empire to defend itself effectively. One of the most decisive moments came in 636 CE during the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah. In this battle, the Sassanian army faced the Muslim forces in a fierce and intense conflict. Despite their long military tradition, the Persians were defeated, marking a major turning point in the history of the region. After this defeat, the road to the Persian heartland was open. Soon after, the capital city of Ctesiphon fell to the Muslim armies. This was not just a military loss. It was the collapse of the political center of the Sassanian Empire. Over the next few years, Persian resistance continued, but it gradually weakened. The final blow came in 651 CE, when the last Sassanian ruler was defeated, officially ending the Sassanian Empire. With this, Persia entered a new era, the Islamic era. However, the Islamic conquest did not erase Persian identity. Instead, it marked the beginning of a transformation, a blending of cultures, beliefs, and traditions. Islam gradually spread across Persia, but this process took time. Many people initially kept their older traditions while slowly adopting the new religion. Over generations, Islam became the dominant faith, but Persian culture remained deeply rooted in society. One of the most remarkable aspects of this period was how Persia influenced the Islamic world. Rather than being completely changed, Persia became a major contributor to Islamic civilization. During what is known as the Islamic Golden Age, roughly 8th to 13th centuries, Persian scholars, scientists, and thinkers played a crucial role in advancing knowledge. In fields like medicine, mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy, Persian intellectuals made groundbreaking contributions. Cities in the region became centers of learning, attracting scholars from across the world. The Persian language also experienced a revival. While Arabic became the language of religion and administration, Persian continued to evolve and was widely used in literature, poetry, and culture. Over time, Persian literature became one of the richest in the world. Great poets and writers emerged, creating works that are still admired today. Their writings explored themes of love, philosophy, spirituality, and human nature. Architecture also flourished during this period. Mosques, madrasas, and cities were built with intricate designs, reflecting a fusion of Islamic and Persian styles. Persian culture became deeply integrated into the Islamic world, influencing art, governance, language, and traditions across a vast region. This period also saw the rise of powerful Islamic dynasties that ruled over Persian lands, such as the Abbasids and later regional powers. Many of these rulers adopted Persian administrative systems and cultural practices. In fact, Persian influence became so strong that it shaped the identity of many Islamic empires that came after. What makes this transformation so unique is that it was not just a conquest, it was a cultural exchange. Persia did not disappear, it adapted, evolved, and redefined itself within a new religious and political framework. The legacy of this transformation can still be seen today. Modern Iran remains deeply influenced by both its ancient Persian roots and its Islamic identity. This combination has created a rich and complex culture that continues to shape the region, so when we look at this period of history, we should not see it as the end of Persia. Instead, it was a new beginning, a transformation that turned a great empire into a cultural and intellectual powerhouse within a larger world. And perhaps that is what makes Iran's history so unique, because no matter how many times it was conquered, it never lost its identity. By the late 15th century, the land of Persia had experienced centuries of change, conquest, and transformation. After the fall of earlier empires and the influence of various Islamic dynasties, the region was politically fragmented. Different groups controlled different territories, and there was no single, unified Persian state. But everything changed in 1001, when a young and determined leader named Shah Ismail rose to power. At just 14 years old, he captured the city of Tabriz and declared himself the Shah of Persia. This marked the beginning of the Safavid Empire, a turning point that would redefine Iran's identity for centuries to come. One of the most important decisions made by Shah Ismail was declaring Twelver Shia Islam as the official religion of the state. This was a bold and strategic move. At a time when most of the Muslim world was Sunni, this decision created a distinct identity for Persia. It unified the population under a single religious framework and set Iran apart from its powerful neighbors, especially the Ottoman Empire to the west. However, this transformation did not happen easily. There were internal conflicts and resistance, as many regions were still predominantly Sunni. But over time, through policy, influence, and state support, Shia Islam became deeply rooted in Persian society. The Safavid Empire gradually expanded its territory, strengthening its control and establishing a centralized government. But the true golden age of the Safavid Empire came under the rule of Shah Abbas I, who ruled from 1588 to 1629. Shah Abbas was not only a powerful ruler, but also a brilliant strategist and reformer. He reorganized the military, reducing reliance on tribal forces and creating a strong, loyal army directly under his control. This helped him defend the empire against external threats and maintain internal stability. One of his most important achievements was moving the capital to Isfahan. Under his rule, Isfahan was transformed into one of the most magnificent cities in the world. It became a symbol of Safavid power, culture, and architectural brilliance. The city was carefully planned, with grand boulevards, beautiful gardens, and impressive public spaces. At its heart was Nakshi Jahan Square, one of the largest and most stunning squares ever built. Surrounding the square were masterpieces of architecture, including mosques, palaces, and markets. These structures were decorated with intricate tilework, calligraphy, and geometric designs that reflected both artistic excellence and spiritual depth. The famous Shah Mosque, with its blue tiles and towering domes, became an icon of Islamic architecture. The use of symmetry, color, and detail created a visual experience that still amazes visitors today. Trade also flourished during this period. The Safavid Empire became a key player in global trade, connecting East and West. Silk, carpets, ceramics, and other goods were exported to Europe and Asia, bringing wealth and prosperity to the empire. European merchants and travelers visited Isfahan and were amazed by its beauty and organization. Some even described it as one of the greatest cities in the world at that time. The Safavid period also saw a cultural and artistic renaissance. Persian art, literature, and craftsmanship reached new heights. Carpet weaving, in particular, became highly refined, producing some of the most beautiful and valuable carpets in history. These carpets were not just decorative items, they were symbols of status, culture, and artistic identity. The Safavid rulers also supported scholars, poets, and artists, creating an environment where creativity and knowledge could thrive. However, like all great empires, the Safavid Empire eventually began to decline. After the death of Shah Abbas, weaker rulers took power. Internal corruption, economic problems, and external pressures began to weaken the empire. In 1722, the Safavid capital was captured by invading forces, marking the effective end of the empire's power. Despite its fall, the legacy of the Safavid Empire remains incredibly important. It was during this period that Iran's modern identity began to take shape, especially its strong connection to Shia Islam, which continues to define the country today. The architectural achievements, cultural developments, and political systems of the Safavid era left a lasting impact on the region. Even today, cities like Isfahan stand as living reminders of this golden age, a time when Persia was once again a center of power, beauty, and innovation. So the Safavid Empire was not just a chapter in history, it was a rebirth, a moment when Iran redefined itself and rose once again as a Arabic, Tain Arabic, That Arabic, Farsi Arabic, Meme civilization. Every great empire reaches a point where its strength begins to fade, and for Persia, that moment came after the Arabic, seen Arabic, Af Arabic wow Arabic hot of the Safavid Golden Age. Following the death of Shah Abbas I in 1629, the Safavid Empire slowly began to weaken. The powerful leadership that once held the empire together was gone, replaced by rulers who lacked the vision, discipline, and authority needed to maintain such a vast state. Corruption began to spread within the government. Officials focused more on personal gain than on the stability of the empire. The military, once strong and organized, started to decline due to poor leadership and lack of resources. At the same time, the empire faced increasing pressure from external enemies. The Ottomans to the west and other regional forces began to take advantage of Persia's weakness. By the early 18th century, the situation had become critical. In 1722, Afghan forces invaded Persia and captured the capital, Isfahan. This event marked the effective collapse of the Safavid Empire, what was once a powerful and unified Arabic, Alif Arabic, Lam Arabic, Dal Arabic, Waw Arabic, Lam Arabic Tet, Mabut, and now lay fractured and vulnerable. For a brief period, Persia experienced chaos and instability. Different leaders attempted to take control, but none could fully restore the empire's former strength. Then came a temporary revival under a powerful military leader named Nader Shah. In the 1730s, Nader Shah managed to reunite Persia and rebuild its military power. He launched successful campaigns, even invading India in 1739, where he captured immense wealth, including the famous Peacock Throne. But his rule was built on fear and constant warfare. After his assassination in 1747, Persia once again fell into instability. This instability paved the way for a new ruling dynasty, the Qajars. In 1789, Agha Mohammed Khan Qajar established the Qajar dynasty. However, unlike previous empires, the Qajars ruled a weakened Persia, one that was no longer a dominant global power. During the 19th century, Persia found itself caught between two powerful empires, Russia and Britain. This period became known as the Great Game, where both powers competed for influence in the region. Russia advanced from the north, while its people continued to shape its future. The story of Iran is not simple. It is a story of empires and revolutions, of power and resistance, of tradition and change. From ancient Persia to the Islamic Republic, Iran has transformed again and again, yet it has never lost its identity. And perhaps that is the most powerful part of its story, because no matter how many times history tried to reshape it, Iran always found a way to rise again. Iran is not just a country, it is a civilization that has survived empires, invasions, and revolutions. From ancient Persia to modern Iran, its story is one of resilience, culture, and power. In this channel History Rec, we tell you more about history. Let's see comments, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more interesting videos.